What would it be like to live more peacefully without the constant weight of worries? What would it be like to find inner peace, even in the midst of the chaos of everyday life? And what would it be like not having to worry about others, especially those who usually harm you? These are questions many of us ask ourselves as we search for a way to live a more fulfilling and meaningful life. What if we told you that the answer might lie in an ancient Zen teaching? Stay until the end, and you will discover the 7 reasons why you should learn to shut up and act like you have nothing to lose. But before continuing, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to stay informed when we publish new content for your spiritual growth. The sun slowly rose behind the mountains, painting the sky with shades of pink and orange. A light morning breeze caressed the leaves of the trees, creating a sweet rustling sound that mingled with the singing of the birds. In the heart of this idyllic landscape, a group of pilgrims had gathered at the foot of an ancient Buddhist temple. Their faces were marked by the fatigue of the journey, but their eyes shone with hope and expectation. They had come from far away to hear the words of the venerable monk Hiroto, known for his profound wisdom and his ability to guide others toward inner peace. Hiroto, an elderly man with a long white beard and eyes that seemed to penetrate the soul, slowly emerged from the temple. His steps were slow but sure, every movement imbued with a deep calm. He stopped in front of the pilgrims, a gentle smile curling his lips. "Welcome, dear friends," he said in a warm, reassuring voice. "I am honored to share with you some of the teachings I have learned over the course of my long life." The pilgrims bowed in respect, their hearts filled with gratitude. They had heard of Hiroto's wisdom, his deep understanding of human nature, and his ability to lead others toward inner peace. The monk sat on a meditation cushion, his legs crossed in the lotus position. The pilgrims gathered around him, eager to hear his words. Today, Hiroto began, "I'd like to talk about the importance of keeping quiet and acting as if we have nothing to lose." This may seem like a paradoxical concept, but I assure you it is a fundamental key to living a more fulfilling life and finding inner peace. The pilgrims nodded, intrigued, and Hiroto continued, "There are 7 main reasons why this approach to life can be so transformative. Let me share them with you." "The first reason," said the Zen master, "is that being silent allows us to silence the internal noise that often distracts us and prevents us from hearing our true voice." Hiroto closed his eyes for a moment, as if to demonstrate the importance of practice. "Imagine a warrior on the battlefield," he continued. "His enemy is not only the opponent in front of him, but also the chaos and fear swirling within him. If the warrior lets himself be overwhelmed by these emotions, he will lose concentration and the battle. But if he learns to calm his mind, to find inner silence, he will be able to see the enemy clearly and act with precision and determination." A young pilgrim raised his hand. "Master," he asked, "how can we learn to silence the noise within?" Hiroto smiled. "Meditation is a powerful tool," he replied. "When we meditate, we sit in silence, observing our breathing and our thoughts without judging them. With practice, we learn to let go of distractions and find a space of inner calm." Hiroto paused, letting his words sink in the pilgrims' minds. "But silence is not just a formal practice," he added. "We can also cultivate it in our daily lives, taking time for ourselves, away from distractions, to reflect and listen to our inner voice." The second reason, Hiroto continued, is that acting as if we have nothing to lose frees us from the fear of failure. The monk told the story of a young woman who dreamed of becoming a painter, but was terrified of the judgment of others. The woman spent hours painting in secret, but she didn't have the courage to show her works to anyone, Hiroto said. One day, I decided to encourage her to participate in a local art show. But Maestro, she protested, what if nobody likes my works? What if they like it, I replied. You have nothing to lose, only something to gain. Hiroto smiled, remembering the courage this young painter finally showed. The girl decided to participate in the exhibition, and to her great surprise, her works were received with enthusiasm. From that day on, he was no longer afraid to show his art to the world. He had learned that acting without fear could open doors he had never imagined. The third reason, Hiroto said, is that this approach helps us cultivate resilience. Hiroto told the parable of the bamboo, a plant that takes years to develop deep roots before emerging from the ground and growing rapidly toward the sky. Bamboo teaches us that true strength lies not in speed or ease, but in the ability to withstand adversity and thrive even under the most difficult conditions, Hiroto explained. When we act as if we have nothing to lose, we develop this same resilience. Let's learn to face challenges with courage and transform them into opportunities for growth. The fourth reason, Hiroto continued, is that keeping quiet and acting without fear helps us live in the present. Hiroto described the tea ceremony, a Japanese ritual that celebrates the beauty and simplicity of the present moment. During the tea ceremony, every gesture, every movement is performed with full awareness, said the monk. There is no room for distractions or wandering thoughts. The attention is focused on the here and now, on the sensory experience of tea, on the connection with the other participants. Hiroto paused, inviting the pilgrims to reflect on what they were hearing about the power of silence. We can bring this same awareness into our daily lives, he continued. When we eat, when we walk, when we talk to others, we can do so with full attention, appreciating each moment as if it were the only one. The fifth reason, Hiroto said, is that this approach leads us to inner freedom. And he told the story of a monk who, one night, was awakened by a thief who tried to steal the few valuable things he owned. The monk watched the thief in silence, then said to him, "Take what you want, but please leave me my inner peace." The thief, confused, fled empty-handed. Hiroto smiled. The monk had understood that true freedom lies not in material things, but in the ability to not be influenced by external circumstances. When we act as if we have nothing to lose, we find the same freedom. We are no longer slaves to our fears or the expectations of others, but can live in harmony with our values and our true nature. The sixth reason, he continued, is that acting without fear helps us cultivate compassion. Hiroto invited the pilgrims to imagine meeting a beggar on the street. Most of us, he said, would be afraid or uncomfortable and would walk right by without even looking at it. But if we acted as if we had nothing to lose, we might stop, look him in the eye, and offer a smile or a kind word. We could see his humanity, his suffering, and feel compassion. Hiroto emphasized the importance of overcoming selfishness and indifference to connect with others on a deeper level. Compassion, he concluded, makes us more human, closer to one another. It allows us to build a kinder, more loving world. The seventh reason, said the monk, is that this approach leads us to inner peace. Hiroto proposed to the pilgrims a famous Zen koan. What is the sound of one hand clapping? The pilgrims remained silent, pondering the seemingly absurd question. This koan, Hiroto explained, invites us to look beyond appearances, to seek the truth beyond words and concepts. It reminds us that inner peace is not something we can find outside, but something we must discover within ourselves. Hiroto paused, letting his words resonate in the hearts of the pilgrims. When we learn to be silent and act without fear, we find a sense of calm and serenity that is not dependent on external circumstances. We discover that true happiness lies within us, not in material things or external achievements.